Hi, we're Blake and Brittany, and we moved to Ecuador 4.5 years ago with our 4 children.
So we get asked pretty often from people who are considering moving to Ecuador, should I ship all my belongings down in a container?
And the answer is probably not.
Probably not. Almost certainly not. But maybe. Yeah, we did do that. And so we can speak for the maybes.
Yeah, but why probably not? One, it's a lot of work.
Lots of work. It was preparing our container was like a full-time job for a couple months. And that's, on top of getting rid of things and
Everything else, selling the house, etc.
Yeah, you got to itemize everything you're taking on a manifest and have things in boxes, labeled boxes. There's tons of requirements, so it's not simple,
not easy
process.
And it's also quite expensive.
Yeah,
it's not a cheap thing to do.
Yeah.
Also, it's a little bit risky, as in, you're packing your stuff up into a container, a literal metal shipping container that's going to be out of your hands and out of your control on a boat.
Sometimes they fall off boats.
Sometimes they do fall
Not
off
often. They go through customs, which is pretty out of your hands as well. Things
quite a process
could go missing.
Going through customs. Yep.
So
it could also then just be unnecessary. You may not need to bring a container.
Almost certainly.
In most cases. Anyways.
But maybe.
Said. So here's 5 reasons why we did, and maybe, just maybe, you should too.
All right. Number 1, maybe you should bring a container if there's something you need to support your livelihood.
Yeah. In our context, that was my shop.
That was our main catalyst for bringing a container, in fact.
Yeah. I have tools, blacksmithing tools, metal shop working tools, specific tools that I knew we either couldn't find down here or would be really expensive and not the same quality. And so that was probably, like Brittany said, the biggest reason why we considered bringing a container down.
Yeah, we couldn't just pack his various sanders and grinders and do you have a smelter? Is that a thing?
No, I don't have a smelter, but yes.
Things like that into suitcases. And that was right. We could not have replaced his tools here. That's kind of been proven over the years. And so Blake has a full shop set up, and that would not have been possible if we did not bring a container full of tools.
Yeah.
And so depending on what you envision yourself doing here, there may be specialized equipment that will make your life easier or kind of improve your money-making opportunities, business opportunities. And there's kind of like a one-shot chance to bring those down simply, mixed in with the visa process and so on. And so if you think you just might need them to have a livelihood, then this is kind of your chance to do that. So all within the requirements. Again, things with motors aren't allowed to be brought down.
The issue with things with motors is there's lots of requirements in terms of shipping internationally things with oil and gas in them, right?
Okay.
And so you can bring motors down. You just they have to be very clean, and they're going to be inspected, no question, before. It's a challenge. So.
Yeah, now, several years into this, there are things I kind of wish that now, like, oh, it would be nice to have this or that, like a nice espresso machine, for instance, if we ever wanted to open a coffee shop or something, that if we had been thinking broader, maybe as far as livelihoods went, we could have brought down with us when we did the container. So just entertain that thought briefly and rule it out or don't. But that's one reason.
I would say the vast majority of people who make the move do so within suitcases, right? They can fit everything they need for their life in suitcases and don't need.
And most don't regret that.
Yeah.
People aren't sad to get rid of things.
No, That's probably the better way to move. But like we said, number one, if you have to support your livelihood with something that requires a lot bigger stuff than a suitcase can hold, container may be necessary.
Yes.
Number 2, important items that can't be replaced.
Yeah, and that's, more if you see yourself staying here long term to forever. What do you need here that is almost impossible or extremely impractical to replace?
Yeah, just prohibitively expensive to ship down here.
Yeah, because you can ship things.
Hmm.
I mean, there's shipping, DHL, and so on, other things.
You could even ship a container
I mean, later,
afterwards. Yeah,
but it's much more complicated and I
much
think
more complicated
expensive if
and
you
much more
don't
expensive.
match it up with your visa process. But so for us, we read a lot and we were homeschooling the kids. And so books were a huge priority. We had a lot, and books, we've said before, can't really be replaced here. And so that was a big draw, something we took advantage of. I think we had 30 some boxes of books that we brought down, and also various things we thought we would need for homeschooling over the next several years. We brought
Yeah.
down things that you can't get that here. You can't get, English language arts curriculum, for instance. So those were things that were important to us that would have been very challenging to source.
And like I said, there's so many things that could go in that bucket, right? Like there's so many things in your own life
Context.
context that, would make sense for things that can't be replaced. So let's say it's certain medical equipment or just whatever you need to live, and just you can't live without it, right? Essentially,
And
um,
again, that just means it's highly impractical to replace. Like
yeah,
maybe it's possible, but it'd be a lot easier to bring down in a container.
yes,
So number 3 is about convenience, things that it's not convenient to replace, but it's doable. Unlike the last one where it's not as doable. So again, it's like toys and clothes for kids. Things you can find here, but it could be a bit of a hassle. Furniture, like, of course, there's furniture here, but it's how much work do you want to put into sourcing things, transporting things, because there aren't the big box stores in Ecuador. And so when you're looking for a bunch of really specific things, you're going to a bunch of really specific shops. And if you're new here, you don't really know where to go. It can be a huge hassle
um,
furnishing a home, furnishing a life,
yeah,
equipping
and
yourself.
in that vein, convenience wise, like Brittany was saying, for the kids, we brought down tubs of clothing for their next number of years of growth, right? Um, so we wouldn't be trying to find and
And
purchase
of course, they have clothes here. And now, we're more confident in that too. We've been here long enough to know,
where to buy
where
things.
to buy things and so on. But it was really nice kind of coming in with a lot of that already at hand. Again, we have 4 kids. And so there's a lot of things that go along with a bunch of kids, and you can't just get everything in one place. And so when you're going to do errands, you're all over the place and you just don't always know. And some, like, houses are sometimes sold or rented furnished here. That's not too uncommon, but we brought a lot of furniture in a container, and I wish we brought more. Like, we got rid of some things like beds and dressers. Like, why did we do that? We had space. We could have made it work. And then we had to source those things here, which, again, it's, unless you have a truck, then you're looking at transporting items and running all over town looking looking for things. And it can be done, but it's just a hassle. So that's something to weigh and consider.
Okay, so number 4 is things that are going to support your interests and priorities, right, in your life here.
So books would have fallen into this category as well for
Sure,
us.
books,
Um,
various farm equipment, outdoor equipment,
yeah, we
things
did bring like some sprinklers, some nice sprinklers we had. What else? We brought some other kind
yeah,
of
tools.
farmy.
Definitely brought. Again, it kind of goes back to tools, but these are like yard tools, timber tools, stuff like that that makes sense. From all I could tell, there was no way to buy the quality of tools here in Ecuador. Well, again, without having them shipped and spending a ton of money. So if we're already spending money, might as well throw it all in the container.
Yes, and
Um,
like recreational items, we brought
hmm.
a bunch of camping gear, for instance. We brought a large trampoline for our kids,
Oh yeah.
which can be sourced here, but again, it's a lot more expensive than what's available in the United States. And so I guess that would count as a recreational item. So things that
But just thinking about things that aren't going to fit in a suitcase.
Yes.
Trampoline did not fit in the suitcase.
No, did not. So thinking about, your hobbies, maybe that's a sewing machine.
Yeah, you name it. There's so many things that could fall into that bucket. And like I said, there are ways to get things down here, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of investigation and a lot of money usually to find a lot of these things that can be just easily added to the container. And we actually wasted space. We should have brought so much more with us.
Yeah, in hindsight.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also very hard to predict exactly what your life is going to be like.
Exactly.
So you make the best decisions you can. And finally, the last thing is things that can't be or won't be, but should be stored in your home country. So a lot of people actually leave here either with a storage unit back in their home country, or they leave items with family and friends. And we didn't do that. We were all in when we moved. And so if it didn't come with us, we don't own it anymore. And so if that's your mindset or reality as well, and you're not going to be storing things, and there's a bunch of sentimental or special things or things that support your traditions, like, I don't know, holiday decorations or whatever, then those are things you want to bring with you.
Or like Brittany was saying before, sentimental furniture, pieces, stuff that's been passed down, right? Things that you want to hang on to. That's definitely not going to fit in your suitcase.
Yeah, we have an antique rocking chair that's special to us. We have, holiday decorations that the kids, particularly care about, things that
our piano.
Yeah, things that make it home in a lot of ways. And so, the piano would not fit in a suitcase.
No.
So if you have the opportunity to bring those things and they're important to you, and those are the kind of things that you want to have around you, then maybe you should bring a container. Now, another option, and we're not going to talk about the technicality so much of bringing a container in this video, but you can potentially share a container space with others as well. That's something that is not uncommon. In fact, if you reach out to your kind of shipping broker, they may be able to put you into touch with someone else in your area.
Well, let's quickly there are 3 or 4 different ways that you can containerize stuff and ship it down here. So there's the 40-foot metal shipping container like you see on the back of a semi-truck on a big freighter ship.
That's what we use.
There's the 20-foot of that same container style metal container. Then there's also like palletized stuff where you can literally put stuff on a big pallet and have it wrapped, right? And you could move stuff down that way as well. And then as Brittany said, you can actually share space in a container. So again, if you're working through a broker, which we highly recommend
for a number of reasons.
For many reasons, which we'll go into in the other video. But working with a broker, they can help connect you with people, right? That you could actually share the cost and share space in a container. And we actually did that to a certain degree. We actually helped some people down here by bringing stuff down in our container for them.
That's very common and a good way of doing it. So if you fall into one of these categories and you just can't let go of some things or shouldn't let go of some things, but they're not suitcase friendly. And by suitcase friendly, we mean like airplane friendly, because some people do pack in big bins or so on. There's ways to bring lots of things down with you on the plane.
True.
But if that's just not feasible, then you're looking at one of those container options that Blake mentioned. So,
and again, a container option is one of those where you're moving with conviction.
Yeah. If you're just here for a little while, don't bring a container.
Yeah. You're looking at moving down here with more of a permanent mindset, or at least a significant amount of time in Ecuador, right? That you're planning to spend here and maintain a home here. Because I can't even imagine having to move all of our stuff back out of Ecuador.
No, that's not going to happen if we ever had to leave, which is definitely not our intention or plan or dream or anything. I don't even know. We'd be leaving a lot of stuff in Ecuador. So,
oh man, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so going back, we shipped a container, and we'll talk all about that in another video on all of the details. But we chose to almost purely because of my tools.
And then the rest just sort of fell in.
The rest kind of fell in, and we realized as we went on.
It may be one of the other categories is more significant for you, and then the rest can kind of fall in. We also, some fun things we had in our container. We had, I don't know, maybe 12 jars of peanut butter. We had
Yes.
lots of maple syrup. Many boxes of our favorite teas. I think we even brought coffee, which is kind of absurd now that we live
have our
in
own
a coffee
farm.
country.
Yeah.
And so once you open the door to a container, there's all sorts of possibilities. So
well, sky's not really the limit. You are limited,
very limited.
much so. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I don't wish a container on you. Like, we hope that your move can be done without one.
yes,
But
simplifying your life is always the best. But in our case, it was necessary, and we're glad we did.
Yeah.
We're very glad we did. But yeah, if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them down below the video here in the comment section. We'd love to interact with those. And I said, look forward to our next video on containers, where we will actually talk about the details and actually walk through what it takes, because that's going to be a long video.
yes.
It's a process. It is quite the process. But like I said, we are very glad we did it. Very glad we have. I'm very glad. I've got my tools and obviously all the other stuff we were able to bring because of my tools. So now we just need to make those tools pay off, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Hasn't paid for itself yet.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys on the next one.